Hello everybody, it's Richard here for another video. Today I want to show you how to create a beautiful interactive lesson in Nearpod for free. And I think after you've seen this video today, you'll immediately realize its applications for online learning and remote learning, which is crucial at this time of the coronavirus pandemic, when so many schools are shut and teachers and students are working from home. So I hope you like today's video. Let me first go through where to go and how to set things up. When you go to Nearpod, and that's at nearpod.com, by the way, you will come to this teacher's login page. Now, clearly, you'll have to set up your account at nearpod.com, but once your account is set up, and it's totally free, the rest of the process is very, very simple. This blue box over here we'll come to later, but basically this is a place where students type in the lesson code and they join your lesson. So let's log in. And here you will see in Nearpod my teacher center. And in here I have all of the lessons that I have uploaded to Nearpod. Now, one of the disadvantages of using the free version of Nearpod is that you do have limited storage space. So if you add lots and lots of lessons, there will come a point where you'll have to delete old lessons because you've used up too much space. What I'm going to do now is upload a lesson that I've created for IB Chemistry. And to do that, I first need to go to my PPT. So I'm going to do that now. And here's my PPT. And what I need to do first on the free version of Nearpod is I need to save my PPT as a PDF. So I'm going to do that now. Saving that as a PDF. And I'm going to save that to my desktop, just for ease of access. And now that that is saved, I have my PDF there. And if I go back to Nearpod, I can now insert that PDF. So I click on Lesson in Nearpod. You can also do it through Google Slides as well, but I want to show you the PPT version for today. I'm going to click Add Slide. Now here it'll give you Add Content, Add Web Content, and Add Activity. We're going to add content. We're going to upload content, which you'll have to do here. So what we're going to do is we're going to upload files from the desktop today, and we're going to upload a PPT. It does allow you to upload other file formats as well, but in my experience, the PDF versions of your PPTs tend to work better. So upload files. And I'm going to select my file from the desktop, which was here, open, and we're going to select individual slides because we want the students to go through each part as an individual slide. The file is now processing. While it's processing, I suggest that you give the lesson a name. So in this case, it's going to be Atomic Structure 2.1, IB Chemistry. Okay, and once the file is processed, we're basically good to go. And what you will see as we do this is that we can add little activities along the way for the students to do. And when the file is processed, I'm going to show you how those activities actually work. Okay, the file is now processed, and you can see that all of my slides are loading up on Nearpod, nice and beautifully here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through each slide. And I'm going to just check that everything's in the right order and that everything looks neat and tidy. And it all looks pretty good to me. And then I'm going to add activities for the students to do along the way. So what I'm going to do now is right click I'm going to go to add slide, add activity, and I'm going to go for a collaborate activity. And I'm going to type in atomic structure. And my question is going to be, state the relative mass and charge of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Okay, and you can choose a format. This default format is already very nice, actually, but a lot of teachers like this one. And you can see it's more of a cartoony, clear, crisp kind of style. And there's a number of different formats you can choose. So I'm going to save that. And as you can see, it has now inserted that activity after slide 7. And I'm going to insert a few more of my favorites for you to see. So a good place for this presentation to do a drawing would be perhaps after slide 15. So again, I'm going to right click, add slide, add activity. This time I'm going to go for a draw it activity. And I'm going to type in draw the Bohr model of the atom. And just for reference, this is the GCSE model you learned. Okay. And then what the children will be able to do then is draw the actual atomic structure that they've learned. You can upload background images if you want to, but it's not necessary. You can add a timer if you want to. This can be really helpful, actually, because if you don't add this, you'll find that students can take a long, long time to draw things. So if you add a timer, it keeps everything at the right pace. So I'm going to add a timer. I'm going to give, let's say, 1 minute. Add. Okay, save. And now that's saved, and we can see that that activity has come straight after slide 15. So they draw the atomic structure they've learned at IGCSE level, and here we see the Bohr model on the following slide. And we can insert some more activities anywhere we like, really. I'll insert my final one I'm going to show you today, which is one of my favorites. I'll insert it here. So again, add slide, add activity, and this time I'm going to add a poll activity. And this is basically a multiple choice question system. How many electrons does a lithium atom have in its outer shell? Let me remove that horrible apostrophe. Let me spell lithium correctly. Okay, and I'm going to give a number of options. So 1, 2, add answer, 3, and 4. Okay, and save. And I'm good to go now. I've added all of my slides. I've added some activities which will get the students engaged in their learning, and I'm ready to go. So the next thing I need to do is click here, save and exit. So I'm going to click that. Nearpod requires you to give every lesson a title and specify the grade and subject. And this is because there is an area on Nearpod where people share lessons, and this just allows ease of categorization. So it's 12th grade and the subject is science. It does follow the American grading system, so be aware of that if you're using a different system. And basically the lesson is ready now, and you can see that it's saving here in my library of lessons. And in a moment, I'm going to show you the absolute beauty and magic of this. And hopefully you will see how perfect this is for online learning and remote learning at this crucial time in educational history. Okay, everybody, for the next part of this video, I'm going to show you how Nearpod actually works with the student interface. So let's say that you are ready now to deliver a lesson remotely with your students. So what you do is you click on Live Lesson, like this, and that will generate a code. The code is now loading on the screen. Okay, and it's given me this code. Now what I need to do next is share that code with my students in some way, perhaps through Google Classroom, through Moodle, through Firefly, through email, through any method that your school uses or any virtual learning environment. And then if you imagine that this is the student's computer now, the student needs to go to nearpod.com, and what they need to do now is type the code that they got from you in here, in this little dialog box there. So I'm going to type in that code now. So the code was VNTHZ. So I'm going to type that in now. Okay, so as you can see, I've typed in the code now into Nearpod. And if I click go, remember this is the student's computer, okay? It's logging in really nicely. And you can see the first slide of my presentation is about to load up on the screen. Now the student has to type in their nickname, so I'm just going to type in something random. Obviously you want to ask your students to type in their real name so that you can track their progress and make sure that they're logged in. Okay, so I've just typed in a generic name right there. Join session. And this is where the magic starts. Now watch this very closely, guys. I think you're going to really like this. So what happens next is, remember, this is the teacher's computer. This is the student's computer. And by the way, there's no limit as to how many users you can have. You could have 300, 1,000, or many thousands of students logged in to your lesson as it's about to play. So what I'm going to do now on my teacher computer is I'm going to close this, this coding box because I'm ready to start my lesson. And remember, all of the students will be at home doing remote learning, and you're the teacher, maybe working from home or working from school. Now watch this. Are you ready? Watch the magic now. As I change my slide on my teacher computer, the slide changes on the student's computer. Do you see that? Absolutely beautiful, isn't it? And I can go through the concepts and every student's computer will change on the screen as I go through the slides. And if I'm presenting Nearpod along with Google Meets or some kind of video conferencing system, then the students can actually hear me talking at the same time as I'm going through the slides. So that's pretty cool. So again, I'm going through the slides now, and we go to our activity that we created. So there's another slide. Again, changes on the student's computer. And look at this. This is their activity now. And on the teacher's screen, it said, this slide is a collaborate board. Would you like to approve student comments before they are posted? Normally, I don't do that with my students because they're all very mature, but in your case, you might want to approve comments. So I'm going to click no. And what's going to happen now is the student is going to write an answer on the collaborate board. So it says, state the relative mass and charge of protons, neutrons, and electrons. I'm just going to type in anything just to show you guys. So anything at all. Okay, just so that you can see how this works. Post. And what will happen now is on the teacher's screen, the student's answer appears. And also, it's on the student's screen. And the other good thing is any other students that are connected to this lesson will also have their answers posted on this board, and every student and the teacher can see the answers that have been posted. And like I said, if you're presenting Nearpod and you have Google Meets or a video conferencing system running at the same time, then you can actually discuss these answers with the students. So it's really, really cool. And then what I can do is I can carry on with my presentation. So keep going. And as you can see, the slides are changing on the student's screen like this. Really, really cool. And as I said, if you're doing this through Google Meets or video conferencing, you can talk the students through each slide as you're doing it. And then we come to our next activity which we designed. And this is a draw it activity. So on the teacher's screen, it says start activity. So make sure you click that. And on the student's screen, the activity will load up. Notice there's a bit of a lag time between the student's screen and the teacher's screen. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw the Bohr model of the atom. So thankfully I have an iPad, but students can use their smartphones and their fingers to draw. They can use the mouse if they're connected to a notebook or desktop computer. There really is no limitation on how the students draw their model. So I'm going to try and draw this while holding a camera in my hand at the same time. It's not going to be very good, I don't think. So there's the nucleus. There's 2 electrons in the first energy level. Okay. Not very good, as I said. It's very difficult to draw when you're holding a camera. And some electrons in the outer shell. So this is a group 4 element. Does anybody watching this video know which element this is? It's at, oh, time's up, you see, because you only have 1 minute. But if I'd have done that in time, then I would have drawn a carbon atom because it has 4 electrons in the outer shell. And what I can do then on my teacher screen is I can see the drawings that students have done. And they all appear on this screen. The good thing is as well, with Draw It, the students cannot see each other's drawings unless you give permission and you share them with the students. So what we'll see now is I will load up this student's picture. And if I click the share button here, I can share that with all my students. And it will appear on every student's screen. And like I said, if I'm doing video conferencing, I can discuss the students' pictures. And this is often quite comical, and you'll get a lot of giggles with this from the students. It's very interactive, and you know, online learning can be a bit stressful for students, especially because the social interaction element is removed when you're doing online learning to some degree. And when you do something like this, like a Draw It activity or something interactive, it does allow the students to chat with each other and have a bit of a laugh, and it's very good for their well-being, I think, and for their general composure. So there's a lot of benefits to this. Okay, so this is my teacher screen. So I'm going to leave the Draw It activity now. I'm going to click on Close, which is just here. And again, I'm going to proceed through my presentation. So again, as you can see, the student's computer changes, and I'm going to carry on. And all this is free, guys. Everything I've done here, I've done for absolutely no investment at all. It's all free. And if you get the paid version of Nearpod, there are even more amazing features that you can add to your slide presentations. So as you can see, the student slides change, and I'll be talking the students through these. And here's my next activity, multiple choice. This is a poll activity. So the teacher's screen shows me the students and what they have answered. Now, I've only got 1 student in my class here to show you, but if I had multiple students, they would show up along here, and I could see all of their answers. So it says, how many electrons does a lithium atom have in its outer shell? Does anybody know? Well, it's a group 1 element, and because it's in group 1, it therefore has one electron in its outer shell. So I'm going to click on 1. OK. Submit. Got it. And it says your answer has been submitted. And then what I can see now is that student ABC has chosen answer A. The nice thing about Nearpod is there's quite a lot of flexibility with this. You can choose for students to see each other's answers. You can choose to not have a correct answer, and you can simply discuss the answers with the students, or you can even choose to have an answer that's correct. So there's a lot of flexibility with the polling on this. And again, we carry on and the student slides change. So this is an incredibly useful piece of software, guys. I'm actually very lucky I found out about this. I went to a teacher training event about 1.5 years ago, and this is where I learned about Nearpod. And since then, I've been using it quite a lot. And from what I can tell, my students really, really benefit from this because the pace is set for them. Everything's clear. It's interactive, and because I'm doing remote learning, it allows me to offer some quality teaching in real time rather than just setting work for the students to do every single lesson. I can go through real-time stuff with the students. Very good for difficult concepts. Yesterday, for example, I was teaching my IB chemistry students Hess's law. Now that's a topic that you really have to go through in real time because self-studying Hess's law is incredibly difficult because it's quite complex at first sight. And I used Nearpod to help with that. And I also connected the Apple Pencil and Sketchpad to Google Meets and actually drew the Hess's law cycles for the students. So I really hope that that was helpful, everybody. And I will see you next time for another video. If you have any questions about Nearpod, you can comment in the comments below. You can email me, info@richardjamesrogers.com, and make sure you click like on this video and click subscribe so that you never miss another video. Thank you and enjoy this online learning journey.